Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's had a great week so far. How's everybody doing? We are back trading the S&P ES futures on the 2000 tick chart this morning. Getting a little situated here. Good morning, Doug. How are you, sir? Oh boy, -7. Wow. That is cold. And I'm over here complaining about 25 degrees. All right, well, let's take a look at the daily chart. We finally are getting above this level here that we've been stuck at the last 4 days. Question is, do we continue getting continuation? Yeah, continue getting continuation. Use the same word twice in a sentence. Do we get continuation here and maybe retest 6,900? That would be the next target if we continue going higher. It is refreshing. That's right. I like your attitude. It's all about perspective, right? And then let's look at the Nasdaq daily as well. Similar look. Except we haven't really been getting stuck at any level. We've just been climbing steadily the last few days. We are coming up into this zone up here though at 25,800. I would imagine that would be the bullish target. And then all-time highs is all the way up here. Same thing with the ES. If we can get past this level here, we can go and test the all-time highs. But looking at the chart today, on the 2000 tick chart, you'll notice that overnight there wasn't much price action in terms of like the range. The range was very, very, very tight. It's not until the last 24 minutes at 9 o'clock where we started really breaking out here. And then if you look at the distance between the standard deviations, they were very tight overnight. They were maybe 2 or 3 points. Now we're starting to get a little bit of expansion. So let's see, this is 71.25 and this is 76. So we're starting to get a little bit more expansion. It's about 5 points or so. I want to see more than that. Otherwise, it doesn't give us a lot of room for any of our trades to actually work. Like if you look at yesterday, for example, look at the distance between each standard deviation level. Like here's a standard deviation level at 64 and here's one at 77. So that's 13 points. That gives us plenty of room on the ES to move, right? Whereas when it's really tight, under 5, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Because you can see here, once we get to a major, like the third standard deviation level, at some point we're going to get a pullback, and we did. And then if we want to go ahead and fill in the gap, it's down here at 68.63. So I would imagine we come back and retest VWAP at some point today. We might also switch between, if the 2000 chicks are not If they're not forming at a good pace or a good rate, I might go to the 1 minute chart, which this is what it looks like here. But only time will tell. I'm not very happy with, again, how tight the standard deviation levels are. And so I really want to see some expansion. Good morning, Tola. I am doing well, sir. How are you? Good to see you on here. I'm happy to hear you're doing well. Okay, we have about a little over 2 minutes before market opens. I guess theoretically you're in... Which trades are we technically in? If this triggers to the downside, then we'll be in a bearish trade, but... Oh, technically, no. Hold on, let me rephrase that. We are in a bearish trade, and it just hit target. It triggered up here. So I should probably keep track of where the runner is. So at break even right now. And then our golden ruler is down here at 62. Okay, the market just opened. And again, the ranges are so tight. Doesn't really give me a lot of room to take these trades. I'm hoping we get some sort of expansion in volume. Let's look at the NQ looks a little bit more favorable. We would have taken this trade bearish. It would have worked for 15 points. But I want to focus on just one chart today. Well, we went all the way and tested VWAP on the NQ. it got that bounce. Okay, so there's this bullish signal right here, but I'll see if I can get in here. If it comes down to 73. Okay, it got us in. Now can we get the move up? This trade looks like it wants to roll over. Yep. It almost worked. And then it just died. All right. This is going to be a buy here. Go ahead and move it to break even. Yep, there we go. Let's keep going higher. VWAP might be resistance. Might just take it off here. There we go. Okay, let's redraw our lines. This is now our upward trend line is going to be like this. can't take this bullish here. We got this downward trend line that's going to be in the way. This is what I mean by tight range today. It's a little tricky. Question is, do I want to take this bearish? Did we have room to take this bearish? We did. I missed this one. Yep, missed this one. All right, this is the next bearish move here. But again, we have support underneath us. This is very tight range today. So we just have to pass on this one as well. And now we have a bullish trigger, but we have resistance overhead. Kind of have this look here with that trend line. And then we also have this trend line here. So you can see that the range is getting tighter and tighter. So something is going to give. Delete this line too. We're still in this bullish move. It hasn't hit target yet. See if the 1 minute looks any better. 1 minute does not look better. Okay, so this bullish trade did not work. This is why we didn't take it. And we weren't going to take the bearish trade either, but it did trigger. And we have all that support level underneath us. I think today is going to be a really patient day waiting for... It's almost like threading the needle. Just have to wait until we get some expansion. I don't know if we'll get that today. We don't really have any catalysts or news that could drive price in bigger ranges. But we'll do our best to try to take the best setups that present themselves, that make sense, that follow our rules. So we can delete this line. Let's look at the 5 minute. What does the 5 minute look like? Just straight up and straight down. 5 minutes not really tradable either. Look at the ES, or the NQ rather. Yeah, I mean, it's possible we can get to 6,900 today. The high overnight was 6,880, right? So only 20 more points. Question is, are we just going to keep consolidating back and forth today? If you zoom out, we're just still stuck in this overall range, right? We just finished forming the 15-minute candle. So let's look at the 15-minute chart. A lot of people like to trade the 15-minute breakout. And as you can see, we're still inside it, right? So I'll go ahead and mark it here, and I will give it a unique color so it stands out. Why don't we give it like pink or something? No, we need something different than pink because I'm using almost all the colors. This is the problem. Deep sky blue, that's different. Let's do dots 3. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Something different that stands out. Dot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, put it on our 2000 tick chart, which is up here. And then we're going to copy it again. Put it back on our 2000 tick chart. So it's right here. So this blue line here and this blue line here, this is our 15-minute range. As you can see, we're still inside that range. Yeah, at the open, it looked like it wanted to go. All right, so now we're breaking down. We're going underneath 15-minute range, right? Finally hit target on the 941 bearish candle. We can delete lines that are no longer valid. But again, we're still in this very tight range. don't think the NQ is that much easier to trade either. Look at it's stuck in this sort of area as well. And then NQ 1 minute. The 1 minute candles on the NQ are 27 points. No thank you. Okay. It's a 5 minute chart. Not really giving us any clues. 1 minute chart. I mean, we are bearish. 15 minute chart. All right, let's see. Question's gonna become, do we have room to take this to the downside? And the answer is yes. It might hit the target before we even get a chance to get in, and that's okay. All right, well, there it went. Didn't quite get the entry I wanted. Cheaper entry, that is. Although I probably could have taken it off the bounce of the 15-minute range, bottom range here. Notice we retested it and we failed. Now we are at the overnight lows, so we just broke through it. We're approaching our favorite level, and I'm being sarcastic when I say favorite, 68.50. You know, we were stuck at this level. You can see back here, and back here, and back here, and back here. This is very much an annoying level, but let's just see if buyers decide to step in at 68.50. Problem is I can't even take this bullish here either. Can't take bullish or bearish trades. Range is so tight. Yeah, that would be interesting to see, Doug. You get the bounce off 60.50, 68.50, you get 50-point run up to 6,900. Although the ES doesn't quite work as aggressive like that as the NQ younger brother. But who knows? Anything is possible, right? All right, so right now we're currently in two trades. We're in this bullish trade here, and we're also in this bearish trade here. And both of them don't really have the room to hit their targets. What's this line right here, Doug? This 68.54? That is the overnight low. So we opened overnight right here at 6 p.m. Eastern. We went as low as this level here. So I always mark the overnight low. And then this is our overnight high. Those usually are targets that play a factor. All right, we have 5 minutes till 10 o'clock. I don't think we have news today. Let me check. No, it doesn't look like we have any news today. All right, so the bullish trade is on its way to working. I've been trading since 2018. How long is that? 6 years now? 5 plus 2? 7 years. 7 years. Been trading futures since 2022, so 3 years trading futures. All right, we just hit target on this initial 952 bullish signal here. And so you see, Doug, like we went down into this overnight low and it kind of acted as support and you got buyers to step in. We're now back retesting the 15-minute bottom opening range here. So you could potentially see some resistance now. But now this candle's too big for me to take. That's the problem. I can't take this candle bearish now. So if you do the measured move off of this candle, standard deviation's in the way. This is what I mean when I said the ranges are really tight with the standard deviation levels. I don't like that. Like, look at yesterday's range, for example. Look how wide each standard deviation level is. Here and here and here, right? 11, 12, 15 point difference. Whereas here, I think it's only like 5 right now. Maybe a little bit more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's expanding, which is good. we do draw a new downward trend line like this. We did end up hitting the target there. And then even if I get a bullish signal here, I don't have room to take it to the upside. That's what I mean by tight range today. Hope you guys are starting to see that a little bit. It makes it very tough to trade, actually, if you don't have room for the trade to work because of all the potential obstacles in a way. If we hold this level here and go back up, this is going to be an upward trend line right there. I'll go ahead and delete this measured move. It already hit it. And then if I wanted to take this bullish here, the measured move is beyond this 21 EMA, so I don't like that either. Let's look at the NQ. Is it any better? Not really. Yeah, a gold can be very volatile and very tricky to trade. I've never traded gold personally, but I do believe the futures market is the best market to trade because there's a ton of volume, especially when you're trading the S&P 500 future, which is the ES, or the Nasdaq. I would recommend you start with the S&P. The Nasdaq is a little too volatile, especially for newer traders, and the S&P is a little bit more predictable and more reasonable. And so the way I would start is, rather than risking your own capital, I mean, I would start with paper trading, obviously, first and foremost. So I would download NinZaRenko, Tola, which is free, and use their paper trading account, their sim account, and just practice. Come up with a system you want to trade and just practice doing that system over and over and over until you're consistent, until you're confident in how that system works. And then when you see consistency, not just randomly getting wins here and there, but like actually consistently getting wins, then I would transition into a prop firm. Like Apex, for example. I'm affiliated with Apex, so I'm going to say Apex. But I do think Apex is one of the better prop firms out there. And I do believe you can get an Apex account in your country. I think we both checked the other day. And so the nice thing about that is you can trade with Apex, pass an evaluation, and then they'll give you a performance account, and then you can trade that and cash out, once or twice a month. And again, risking very little capital. And I think that would be the best way to go. So step number 1, download NinjaTrader. Step number 2, practice paper trading on your sim. And I would, since I know it's 10 o'clock your time right now, PM, I would trade the New York Open. You can also trade the London Open. It's 3 a.m. my time, so it'll be 3 p.m. your time. So the London Open is you could trade that for 30 minutes. You can trade the New York Open for an hour from 9:30 to 10:30 or 9:30 to 11, whatever works with your schedule. And then again, you're only trading using your sim account on NinjaTrader. And then once you get a prop firm account with Apex, you link that account to your NinjaTrader platform. NinjaTrader is going to be the platform you use to trade. That's what I'm using right now. That's what you're seeing on the screen. And then I can help you go through what it would look like to actually get an account and all that. And if you wanted to get a discount, I do have a discount code. You just use the code ZONE, Z-O-N-E, when you check out, and it'll give you typically 80% off. I don't think we have a sale going on right now. I think the sale just ended yesterday. But there's usually at least one sale each month. And so whatever price you see on the website, that's not going to be the price you're going to be paying. You think at least 70-80% off of what you see. So you would pay, I think typically you'll pay $38 USD to get an evaluation, and then when you pass it, now I don't know what the pricing model is going to look like for your country. It might be a little bit different. I don't know if they operate in your country's currency. But you can always email their support. They're pretty good. They'll usually get back to you within 24 hours. They can help you figure out all those questions. And what's nice is then when you do get payouts, they'll either directly deposit that payout in your bank account, or they will find an international way to wire you the money to your country. So there are different ways to do it. You just have to check with them. So we are currently in this bullish trade here that just hit target, but we wouldn't have been able to take it anyway. The EMA, and we were creating lower highs, right? Now we finally broke this lower high here, so maybe we start transitioning back up, but again, it's too early to tell, and we are in a very, very, very tight range. This is now a bearish move here, but look what's underneath us, this upward trend line. Anyway, Cholo, I hope that makes sense. And if you have any other questions, let me know. But before you decide to go with any platform or put any money into anything, I would recommend you just do it using a paper account, a simulated account, so you're not risking any money as you're learning. And then build that consistency, build your confidence in your system. Kind of go from there. Yeah, right now that the sale is over, right? So it's only cutting that amount in half. So wait until we get closer to Christmas, and I think there's going to be another sale, and that number would be a lot lower. And I know that's a lot of money in your currency. So that's why I was telling you, if you could email them and see if they do things that are related to your currency rather than USD, and see if they offer that for you. Because I know every country is going to have different currencies, and some currencies are stronger or weaker than others. So I completely understand. Yeah, by no means do I want you to pay $93. And $93 is still very expensive, by the way, for an account. So but I will say the nice thing about trading futures is that you can do it from many different countries. Whereas, like, let's just say you were trying to trade the New York Stock Exchange, for example. Well, only some countries and some brokerage accounts will allow you to trade. Whereas futures is more of an international market, which is really nice. So you see this upward trend line did hold. Yeah, you're welcome. I definitely think you're on the right track looking into the futures market. You just have to figure out what currency, what brokerage account is going to work for you and your budget and your economy. But regardless of what direction you do end up going, you should learn to practice trading a system using fake money right now, right? Paper money. That's going to be the first step, regardless of what you decide to do. So we did get a bearish signal here. It was a very small candle, 2 points. It did hit it. I wasn't really looking to take a 2-point trade in the middle of this range anyway, and the EMA was underneath us at the time. So we are just stuck in this really tight range. Let's look at the NQ. Is it any better? Kinda. Not by much. Not by much. Yeah. The markets today are just a little tighter than normal. And it could also be because we are in the month of December, and historically December leading up to Christmas and New Year's, the volume starts to dry up a little bit. But personally, I think it's a little too early for that. I mean, we're still at the beginning of December, right? We can go ahead and delete this upward trend line. It's no longer valid. And now we're in the middle of this bearish trade here, but again, the target is underneath this level of support, this level of support, and this level of support. I don't like it. So I guess the name of the game today is just being really patient, which is really hard. We did end up hitting the target. We're now down to 68.50. Level we've been talking about for the last few days. Let's go ahead and delete this. This is a bullish signal here, but look at all that clutter overhead. Lots and lots of clutter. Now hindsight, you'd have said, Rames, why didn't you just take this right here at 50? Bounce up. I used to trade that strategy. But anyway. I guess I want a little bit more confirmation in my strategy now moving forward. All I'm really looking for is 4 or 5 good trades in a 1.5 2 hour period where I would hope most of them would work. And because when you start, if all 4 of them work and each one gives you $300, that's $1,200 right there. Now obviously not all of them are going to work. You're going to get stop losses here and there, but this is a bearish signal here. We probably had room to take this to the downside. In fact, I might actually get in here bearish if it wants to come back up. And if it doesn't, that's okay. I probably missed it. I don't want to chase it, you know? I changed my mind about going bearish here. At this point, I think 50 is a strong buyer's level. I don't know if we're going to come... Maybe we come back down. I don't know. But I think we're probably going to want to start seeing more buying here on out, right? I think at least the one good thing about the market moving a little slow today, it gives me time to actually think. When the markets move very, very, very fast. Yeah, see, I'm glad I didn't go short there. I actually, explained to you guys my reasoning. So we finally hit the target on this bullish trade. Now the question is, can we get continuation and get out of this range? And delete these candles now, or not candles, trend lines. Part of me wanted to take this bullish here. But I think it's going to depend on this candle instead. Okay, we're gonna try it. Actually, if I'm really following my rules though, I probably should not get into this trade. I'm trying to follow all of my rules. I have this downward trend line that I've drawn here that is potentially an area of resistance, and you could see here the measured move would run into that. So this is the nice thing about actually having time to think. You can also notice we ran into the 15-minute opening range, the bottom portion of that range. And for those of you who are joining us later on the stream, if you're wondering where this came from, you go on the 15-minute chart. This is the first 15-minute candle. Each of these candles is 15 minutes, right? This is the bottom of the range. Notice we went back up, retested the bottom of the range and failed. So sometimes that 15-minute opening range can act as support or resistance depending on which direction you are approaching it. So yeah, I'm going to try my best to actually follow my rules. When I start deviating from that, I start losing and I start going on tilt. Just letting you guys know. I don't want that. I don't mind taking a trade that followed all my rules and it doesn't work. That's probability. But if I take a trade that didn't follow my rules and it didn't work, well, that's me not following my rules. And that puts me in a bad mental state. I don't like it. This was the bullish trigger here. Very small. 2 points. But I wanted to get it at a discount. So if it doesn't hit its target and it comes back down and gets me in, that's okay. That's what I'm looking for. I think it might just go up and hit its target, and we'll have to close out this trade. There it is. All right, that's fine. All right, so we're retesting the bottom of the 15-minute opening range right now. Do sellers step in here again and drag this thing down? Or do buyers go through it? The problem is that even if buyers get through this opening range resistance area here, they got VWAP overhead at 68.63. But that might be the target for the buyers. They bought it down here at like 68.50 and they're trying to get it back to VWAP. I mean, 13 points on the ES is not bad at all. I'm trying my best to put on my institutional money hat, if you will, and think, what is the smart money trying to do here? Now, I may not always be right, but again, these are all going to be guesses, education, can't even speak. Take an educational guess. Take in all the clues and make the best decisions you have possible based on all the clues that you're gathering. And if you don't have enough clues to make a good decision, then you wait. All right, you see this downward trend line now acting as resistance from back here. If we go on the 5-minute chart, you'll notice we're also running into the 5-minute EMA here, this green line, and we're going back down. This is the 1-minute chart. It's not very clean. Look how choppy this is. Really, none of the charts today look very good. None of the time frames. This is a bearish signal lower, but the measured move is beyond 2 areas of support, so I'm not taking it. What does 2000 ticks mean, sir? Okay, that's a good question. So, this is the 1-minute chart. So every candle is 1 minute, right? This is the 5-minute. Every candle is 5 minutes. This is the 15-minute chart. So every candle is 15 minutes. But this is a 2000 tick chart. It means it forms a new candle after 2,000 transactions have gone through. So you can see the little number here on the side. It's counting how many transactions are happening right now. So tick charts, when there's a lot of momentum, especially like right now, we're starting to see a lot of bearish momentum, right? These tick charts will form a lot quicker. When volume goes up, these tick charts will start forming these candles a lot quicker than a traditional time-based chart. So the advantage to that is you then start to see the momentum a lot sooner than having to wait a whole minute or a whole 5 minutes or a whole 15 minutes for a candle to form. Like these 2 candles here, they formed in under a minute. And now we're getting some bearish momentum, right? So we're going to go ahead and take this trade here if it comes back up. Can it touch? Can it touch? Okay. Come on. Can you get me in? So a 2000 tick chart means every candle forms after 2000 transactions. All right, don't go. Okay, I need you to come back down. Might be a stop loss. Yep. All right, well, this setup actually followed all my rules. It was very clean. We were in this bearish trend, and bulls just decided to come in. So I'm not mad at that. I mean, obviously, I'm sad it didn't work out, but it followed all my rules. Now, you can trade a higher tick chart. It'll take longer to form the candles. You can trade a lower tick chart. It'll form the candles a lot sooner. It really just depends on your trading style and what you're looking to do. But I found that the 2000 tick chart on the ES is very reasonable. especially when it starts moving like this. Now on the Nasdaq, I'm trading an 800 tick chart. Slightly different. Do we have room for this one to go up? And the answer is no. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions about tick charts. They're really good for momentum rather than just waiting for a specific time frame to move. And you can find tick charts on NinjaTrader. You can also find tick charts on TradingView. Some versions of TradingView. Now, the really tricky thing about tick charts, though, is my tick chart's going to look different than your tick chart. And I still haven't figured out why that is. I think it has to do with, like, your data feed. Well, I'm so glad. I appreciate that. We're running back into that 15-minute opening range resistance area. If we go to the 15-minute breakout here, this is if the bears got their way, it triggered to the downside, right? They want it to go all the way down to 68.42 if they could have their way today. And they almost did. They got it to 44.50. So they were about 2 points away from their target. But they still haven't hit their target. So the question is, do we come back down and finish the job? So I guess my area that I would be looking for to go short is if we fail at VWAP, we may potentially can come back down. So Rhythmic is the brokerage that Apex uses to where you'll be actually taking the trades from. So they use three companies. They use Rhythmic, they use Tradeovate, and they use Wealth Charts. I don't recommend Wealth Charts because you can't trade it on NinjaTrader, but you can trade Tradeovate and or Rhythmic. I used to trade a ton of Tradeovate, but I was having issues, if you recall, like a few weeks ago with their data feed. I couldn't trade multiple accounts at once because I was running into an issue called the rate limit. So I went back to Rhythmic. So Rhythmic is the brokerage that Apex uses where you're going to be taking your trades from. And you can connect your Rhythmic accounts on NinjaTrader. I know it sounds really complicated. So NinjaTrader is going to be your trading platform. Apex is the company, is the prop firm that you're doing it through, and then Rhythmic is the brokerage that Apex is using for you to actually put on your trades. So I hope that makes sense. So when you do eventually get an account, I recommend you do it through Rhythmic. Okay, we're at VWAP. Are we going to get some form of rejection here? Okay, we're going to try it. We're going to try to go short right here at VWAP. Did I miss it? I don't know. We'll see. I might have missed it. Okay, we're in bearish. So I really need the bears to step in here and bring this thing back down. Although at this point I might have to reverse course, but we'll see. I really don't like this trade anymore, actually. I'll tell you why. So I just decided to get out. So if you look at the 5 minute, we are over the 21 EMA and we are over the 8 EMA. These are two strong potential areas of support that are potentially going to get in the way of me going back down. So I don't know. It's a very tricky area. I decided to just get out. If it works, it works. I didn't think it was an A+ setup once I took the other things into consideration. We might end up continuing our bullish momentum, actually. And if that's the case, let's see how this candle closes. I have... How many monitors do I have? I have 4 monitors, but I have one really, really big monitor. And, all right, this triggered higher. Let me... We might have missed this trade too. That's okay. But I have all the charts that you're seeing right now are off of my main monitor, and I just switch between the different tabs like this. So there's multiple tabs that I have open in the same window on NinjaTrader. And then my secondary monitor is for viewing the chat for the stream. And then my third monitor is viewing some other time frames I need to keep an eye out on, like the 5-minute. And then the fourth monitor is monitoring all of my accounts that I'm trading at once, the P&L and that sort of thing. But I just recommend you have 2 monitors. You have, like, if you have a laptop or a desktop and just 2 screens, you really don't need 4. I think 4 is a little overkill. Because you just need one main screen for that you're going to be trading on, and then a secondary screen to be looking at something else, like a higher time frame or the P&L of your accounts or something else. You need that on the second screen, not on the main screen. So you only really need two monitors. So this trade did end up working. I do trade multiple accounts at once, yes. I use something called a trade copier. And I trade a few of them at once. I don't trade all my accounts at once. I learned the hard way that's not a good idea. Either if I go on tilt, or if I have a technology issue, or I just have a bad day, I don't want to put all of my accounts in danger. So I trade them in groups of 4. So you might hear me say, I don't think I've ever said this on the stream, maybe once or twice, but I usually will say, oh, I just finished group A, I just finished group B, I just finished group C. And that just means I hit my goal in each of those groups and I move on to the next group. So I've done a lot of back testing where I know there's enough trades in a 2-hour period for me to be able to trade 3 to 4 groups by hitting my goals in each one. Now, a day like today is really slow. We're not even done with the first group yet. But I've made some pretty good decisions on getting out of trades that didn't end up working. So, if anything, I've saved myself a headache. There was 2 or 3 stop losses that would have occurred if I didn't realize what was really happening in the market. And I think that just takes a little bit of experience. So this trade is now very much over. I'm waiting to see what will happen if we come back down to VWAP. We're also above VWAP on the NQ. It's also good to pay attention to the sister index. This would have been a nice 15-point trade. This would have been a nice 15-point trade. I mean, I was trading the other day the NQ and the ES simultaneously. And I guess on a slow day like today, it would probably have been a good idea because you can focus on 2 charts. But normally, these 2 charts are moving very fast. And if you end up paying attention to one chart over the other, you end up missing a trade that you should have taken. And it also just drains my tank, my thinking tank, my focus tank, my mental tank. If I'm trading too many charts at once, it just eats at me. Like, there's only so much I can do. Like, I know my own limitations. And so I try to set myself up for success, and not trade, not put myself in a situation that's going to drain my mental focus and capacity. I'm looking at the NQ. I mean, it's okay. I'm trying not to have FOMO here. It's like, oh my god, if I would have traded the NQ, I'd be done by now. But I told myself I just want to simplify things for me in my own mental space, and for the viewer. I think it would be overwhelming for the average person coming onto my stream and seeing two different charts, me trading both of them simultaneously. I don't think that's very beginner friendly. I'm trying to cater my stream for people who want to actually learn how to trade. All right, so we are now getting a lower high here. So we're getting this look. If you go back to the 15-minute, we essentially worked our way. This is really cool. I think you guys will appreciate this. So if we draw the whole map, look at where we went. We went all the way up 50% of the candle. And then we failed. So we retraced 50% and failed off of this big 15-minute opening candle, right? So I would imagine we get some bearish momentum back down. I don't know. Trading is a game of math. I think at one point I had as much as 16 paid accounts, Tola, and I usually average around 6 to 8 at once, or 6 to 8 accounts total. If there's a good sale, I'll ramp up and I'll try to get more paid accounts. In the meantime, I'm pretty happy not having too many accounts, because sometimes they become a huge headache if you're trying to actually trade all of them. So I think the sweet spot is like 6 to 9 accounts. Because sometimes I'll have trade copier issues and things like that, and so I end up having to trade each account individually, and that just takes a lot of time. So yeah, we're getting that bearish momentum. So I hope you guys know why we are going down. See, this is something that you should ask yourself sometimes. Why did price reverse in this area? And if you can figure the answer out, it'll make you a better trader. If you can't, that's okay. Sometimes there isn't a really good answer. Sometimes the market can be highly irrational. We're going to try to take this bearish setup here if it can come back up. If it can come back up. It already hit target. Never mind. And that wasn't a big candle. It was like 2.25 point candle. All right, we got this downward trend line as well. We broke this upward trend line, going back into a bearish trend, so we're going to delete that. And now we're retesting the bottom of the opening range, which could act as support. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, right? Again, not a lot of room to move. But I would imagine the bears want to finish the move that they originally started. Doesn't mean it's going to happen though. Let's look at the NQ 15 minutes. Now, what's crazy about the NQ 15 minute is it got nowhere near its 50% pullback. Or did it? No, it did. Oh, look at that. Exactly 50% retracement on this as well. Going back down. Interesting stuff. When you understand that the market is made of a bunch of computers trading algorithms and you try to figure out where they might get in, you're ahead of the game. How big was this 15-minute candle on the ES? $17 points. A little over 17 points. That's a big candle for the ES. All right, we're currently in this bearish trade here. Problem is, the measured move is beyond the standard deviation level. Can't take it to the downside. A lot of sticky situations today. All right, I think seeing how slow today is, I might just wrap things up in the next few minutes. Pretty much a break-even day today, slightly positive. We were up at one point, I think $170. Something like that. I'll give it like 5 more minutes and see what we end up doing. This is a bullish trade to the upside. Very small candle though. Not even 2 points. I'm not going to take this. It's not worth it. And we're also in a bearish, pretty strong bearish trend too, so. We also have this look. Now, because we have that look, it makes this trade less likely to work, but we'll see. Buyers are really trying to step in here. There it is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and delete this line. This line is still valid. Maybe, actually, we're going through it right now, so I'll go ahead and delete that as well. We're back at the bottom of the 15-minute opening range. Look at that, acting as resistance again. Now, because this is a higher low, I'm going to have to mark that as well, which kind of puts us in this situation here. All right, this is a bearish signal here, but look at where we are at underneath us. We have the standard deviation level, and we have this upward trend line. So I cannot take this bearish. All right, guys, I'm gonna probably log out for the day. I'll be back tomorrow around 9:20 a.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I know it was a little slow, a little boring, but I hope you learned something. I mean, the market's not always going to be exciting every single day. Yeah, anytime, Tola. If you have any more questions, let me know. I'm hoping you'll start picking up on my system the more you watch. But today, there's just not a lot of room for these candles to go. All right, have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon.